Hi everyone, I'm Momo. So as you can see, I have finally, after many attempts, created my channel's official IC. She is a cat, human, girl, thing. Yeah. Anyway, I thought I'd do something away from Awoken while I wait for auditions. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, check out my Awoken cast single to see what I mean. And if you're bored, look at the previews of my fanime. Also, before I begin, I planned one last preview that you'll be waiting for episode 1 to come out. And that is my opening sequence. But that one might just be a while, so don't hold your breath. Okay, today I'm doing a video about some silly/embarrassing things from my past. The first story is from my Year 6 life. This is both silly and kind of embarrassing. Okay, so you know how when you're in middle school you have maybe 2 to 3 teachers? You've got your main class teacher who teaches almost all of your subjects, and then you've got like your art, Japanese, or whatever language is taught at your school and PE. I would say music, but I didn't start that till Year 8. So my Year 6 teacher was a lovely woman. She was almost never sick, but this one day, she got a really bad cold and had to stay home, so we spent the day with a relief teacher. And just so you know, I'm probably one of the most lovely people to have in your class. I may not be academic, and I do spend a fair amount of time writing my next story, but I am really nice and normally very well behaved. But, okay, so my friend Acacia had this awesome handwrite. It had a much narrower tip, and it made my horrible handwriting quite impressive. Well, I got a little cheeky. I borrowed her pen, and that recess right outside my class I wrote a note. I signed it as the principal's name and made a little squiggle at the bottom which reminded me of a very squiggly signature. Then I left it on her desk. I sat there for a full 10 minutes after recess looking up from my desk to see if the teacher had seen it, and she hadn't. So eventually I got up, walked to the desk with some library books that should have been returned the day before, but we didn't go to the library unless we had our actual teacher. And I did this. "Excuse me, miss?" "Yes, Momo?" This is embarrassing, but I forgot to return these. May I run up to the library?" "Of course, just hurry on back." I smiled and said thank you, then turned and stopped and turned back again. "Oh, miss?" "Yes?" "You have a note on your desk." At this point I left the room, and as soon as I was far enough away I burst out laughing. I feel really bad about pranking her. She was super nice, but I had such a bad week and I just wanted some laughter. The note told her to go to an important meeting in the staff room in the lesson before lunch. So I watched in silence as the teacher hurried out the classroom and walked back in. I returned my library books first, obviously, and sat at my desk. The next lesson starts and the teacher starts by my desk. At this point I'm thinking, oh no, I'm gonna be caught. It was just a harmless prank. Oh my gosh. But anyway, she goes, "Momo, who gave you that note?" "Miss, I already told you. The note was on your desk. I don't know who put it there. Someone from the reading group, maybe?" She walked away, and honestly, I never heard a word about it again. Though I may have just maybe tried it again on Year 7 on another teacher. Only I spelled the teacher's name wrong, so he didn't fall for it. Okay, so story number 2, and this one is embarrassing. Okay, at the start of Year 8, I was starting a new school. I literally knew one person there. I was kind of lost, so I spent most of the time walking around. My first PE lesson for the year, and I'm dressed up in my awesome PE uniform, and it was brand new. It looked flippin' awesome. Then this happened. I was running around, and I jumped onto this raised ledge that held some very beautiful looking red and white roses. I think you know where I'm going with this. I tripped on an out-of-place brick and landed with my whole right side in the rose bush. My sneakers? Stuck. My hair? Stuck. My fabulous brand new uniform? Stuck. Worse, I'd fallen over in front of Year 12s. You know how epically embarrassed I was? I mean, here I am, a little, and I'm serious about the little bit. Year 8, not only that, but it was literally my first week at school, and I fall in a rose bush. I had Year 12s help me get out. Then I got sent to the first aid room. But I'm a nice girl and say it was my own fault, not the rose bush. I mean, it's not as if the rose bush hates me. It's not as if all the rose bush did was intend to hurt me. It's not as if it was out to get me. Of course not. That's silly. Oh, just you wait, dear viewer. I give you proof that rose bushes are attempting to take over. Term 2. I had a great group of friends, one of which was year 12, a New Zealander. She walked past our group one day and I called out, but she didn't hear me, so I stood up and ran to her. And guess what? I tripped over another flippin' rose bush. It was right there. It tripped me over. And I broke my right arm in the process of falling nearly half a flippin' meter onto concrete. I'm sorry, I needed to get that off my chest. Needless to say, Roses and I have a very iffy friendship. So this one's a little bit more common, but I had to put it here because, dude, I was mortified. So my boyfriend and I honestly can't remember if we had started going out when this happened or if we'd been friends, only because I can't remember if it happened in year 11 or in year 10. But either way, we were playing chasey. We were running around and I was trying to catch him, and then I tripped on a loose brick. This wouldn't be too big a deal ordinarily. After all, I'd gotten a lot tougher. I could handle tripping over and getting grazed if I hadn't been wearing my summer uniform, which was a dress and knee-high white socks. Normally I'm smart. I wear my old netball shorts under it for obvious reasons. But today, well, they were still damp on the drying rack just that week my house's dryer had broken. And I swear at the time I had only one pair of shorts and that was it. So yeah, windy day, tripping over, dress and no shorts due to uncontrollable circumstances. The first thing I did was push my dress down to make sure I kept my dignity, but I still couldn't help but go all red because I didn't know if anyone had seen anything. Out of courtesy, my boyfriend didn't come any closer till I was on my knees at least, because he is a boy with very good manners. So yeah, lots of falling over. I am extremely clumsy. Well, that's fabulous. I hope you'll enjoy. The link to the casting call is in the description if you want to check it out. And don't forget, if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell. That way you'll get notifications when I put out another video. And I don't think you want to miss the first episode of Awoken, do ya? Have you felt the same horrors, or have you done something silly you want to share? Leave a comment. Oh, and tell me if there's any videos you want me to do. I kind of have zero inspiration. Use it all up on Awoken ending and opening. You have no clue how hard it is to make a good ending and opening. Or maybe you do. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Yours, Momo.